Yes, sir.
Okay. So, in the previous class, we have gone through Airy's theory, second case, when the plane of rupture cuts the opposite vertical wall. We have gone through the derivation. Now today, we'll take an example of design of silo, uh, and that will be using Jensen's theory. So before we take an example, let us just go through some codal provisions. So, in IS 4995 part 1, you would find the uh, various materials used for storage uh, in bins. So, and the bulk density and the angle of internal friction phi. So, depending on the material to be stored, you can have the values of bulk density and internal friction. Then the depending on the particle mean diameter, uh, uh, you can have the angle of wall friction during filling and during emptying. So two cases are there, when filling of silo and when emptying of silo. So the governing case will also depend upon the size of the mean particle diameter. So, so these are the values of internal friction and pressure ratios K, which is the ratio of horizontal to vertical pressure. Then the governing load case, for granular material, uh, it would be emptying case, and for horizontal pressure it is also emptying, and for vertical pressure it is filling. For powdered material it would be filling equals to emptying. For this horizontal pressure, and for vertical pressure it will be the filling will be the governing load case. Okay, so we'll use these in the example. So now let us take an example. A silo with internal diameter 5.5 meter, height of cylinder out of cylindrical portion 18 meter, and central opening with 0.5 meter is to be built to store wheat. Design the silo using M20 grade of concrete and Fe415 steel. Use Jensen's theory for pressure calculation. Here we have been given the material as a wheat. So from the code for wheat, the bulk density is 850 kg per meter cube and the angle of internal friction is 28. Sometimes it may be given in the data, or you may have to produce it from the code. So here the unit weight of wheat is 8.5 kilonewton per meter cube. Angle of internal friction that is phi equals to 28 degree. Now angle of wall friction. For angle of wall friction, you have to refer this. Since wheat is a granular material with its mean particle diameter more than 0.2 mm, so the angle of wall friction will be 0.75 times pi while filling and 0.6 times pi while emptying. Angle of wall friction we call this as phi dash. This will be 0.75 times pi while filling, means while filling the silo, and it will be 0.60 while emptying. Then the pressure ratio. So pressure ratio while filling is 0.5 and while emptying it is 0.1. That is K, which is the ratio of horizontal to vertical pressure, and that is 0.5 while filling and it is 1 while emptying. Okay, now the dimensions of the silo are given. So the diameter of the cylindrical portion is given to us, that is 5.5 meter. The height of the cylindrical portion is given as 18 meter. Then the opening is of 0.5 meter. This height of the bottom hopper is given as 2.5, and this projection will be 5.5 minus 0.5 by 2, so that will be 2.5 meter. So that means this angle will be 45 degree. Okay, so these things are given to us. So let us design. Now here the governing case for finding the horizontal pressure will be for granular material. For finding the horizontal pressure, emptying case is the uh, governing case. So is emptying. Since wheat is a granular material, okay, so for this case, so for emptying case, we have angle of wall friction as 0.65 for emptying case, and pressure ratio is 1. For emptying case, we have pi dash is equals to 0.65, which will be 0.6 into 5 is 28, pi is 28, so into 28, so that will be 16.8, and the pressure ratio K, which is pH by PV, is 1. Okay, now you can also find mu dash from the value of pi dash, so that will be mu is equals to tan pi dash, so that will be 1. That will be 0.3, and mu will be equal to tan phi. that will be 0.532. Now the unit weight of the wheat material is 8.5. We call this as gamma. So we have the value of gamma 8.5 kilonewton per meter cube. Then we have the diameter of the cylindrical portion. We call this as B, which is 5.5 meter. Okay, this is the dia of cylindrical portion, and the height of the cylindrical portion is 18 meter. This is the height of cylindrical portion. So then we can also find the hydraulic mean depth. That is R, which is equals to pi by 4 into B square divided by pi B. So that will be B by 4 so it will be 5.5 by 4, it will be 1.375. Okay, so we have all the terms required for the required in the Jensen's theory. So from using Jensen's theory, now if you remember the formula of Jensen's theory, so this was Jensen's theory. And this is the horizontal pressure formula for the horizontal pressure. Okay. Now here we are using the term this in terms of hydraulic mean depth. So this R by 2 is actually hydraulic mean depth. So we can write R with hydraulic mean depth times unit weight divided by mu dash whole multiplied by 1 minus e raised to the power minus mu dash k. N is actually k, we have used it as k. Okay, so this formula we will be using. So and we can call this as n also. Let us use this as n instead of k. N is the pressure ratio. In some text you would find it as K. So our expression is pH is equals to R times gamma divided by mu dash whole multiplied by 1 minus e raised to the power minus 2 mu dash N H by R. Now here this formula can be written as R times gamma by mu dash into 1 minus e raised to the power, this term R by 2 is actually mu dash N H by R, which is the hydraulic mean depth. Okay, see, this is diameter by 4. Diameter by 4 means this can be written as 2R, so it will be R by 2. Simply you can also write because hydraulic mean depth R is equals to R by 2, radius by 2, that in our case it would be this 1.375. So let us first find this term mu dash into N into H by R. So where mu dash N H by R is equal to, the value of mu dash is 0.3 into N is 1 for emptying case, okay, and H we keep this as H only because we will be finding at different height, so leave it as H. So formulate this in terms of H divided by 1.375, this value 1.375. So this will be 0.3 divided by 1.375, so that will be 0.218 H. So your formula for pH will be equal to 1.375, that is R, into gamma is 8.5 divided by mu dash is 0.3 whole multiplied by 1 minus e raised to the power minus 0.218 into H. So that will be equal to 1.375 into 8.5 divided by 0.3, so that will be 38.958 into 1 minus e raised to the power minus 0.218 into H. Okay, this is the expression for horizontal pressure for finding the horizon for the emptying case. Now we'll find this value of horizontal pressure at different heights. So at different height, let us say make a table H. So at 3 meter, at 6 meter, at 9 meter, at 12 meter, at 15 meter and at 18 meter. You find these pH. Now from this you can also find the tension T from the pressure, the hook tension, because that is hook. This is the horizontal pressure, and this is height. So hook tension T is equal to pressure into D by 2, that is the diameter by 2. So you can have the value of the hook tension. Then you can also find the hook steel, that will be ASH will be equal to TU divided by 0.87 Fy, 0.87 Fy. So TU is actually 1.5 times T, the hook tension, divided by 0.87 Fy. Then you can provide the reinforcement details. So just find these values at your end. So at 3 meter, this will be 38.958 multiplied by 1 minus meters to the power 1.18 into H. Could be 18.70 for this. At 6 meter, it will be 28.43. At 9 meter, it will be 33.48. At 12 meter, it will be 36.11. See, these are in kilonewton per meter square. This will be in kilonewton. This will be in mm square. at 15 meter 37.48, and at 18 meter it is 38.19. Now with this pressure you can find this B here. In this case B is 5.5, so it will be 18.7 into 5.5 by 2, that will be 51.425, 51.425. Next is 78.183. Just verify these values at your end. 92.07, then 99.30, 103.03, and 105.02. Then the reinforcement required will be 213.6 mm square, 324.8 mm square, then 382.5 mm square, and 412.5 mm square, and 428.2 mm square, and 436.3 mm square. Now, since the reinforcement required are not very large, so we can provide same hoop steel throughout the height. So that will be provide minimum reinforcement. See here the minimum here. Let us find the minimum reinforcement and compare it with this. So the minimum reinforcement for steel in direct tension at 0.3%, this will be equal to 0.3. Let us assume 150 mm thick wall thickness. So the minimum steel is 450, and which is greater than all these values. So this will be the governing load case. Here we have assumed 150 mm thick walls. Okay. So provide minimum steel that is 10 dia 170 cm. So that will give you ASH provided equal to 462 mm square. Okay, so this is provided against this value. Now For the vertical reinforcement, this was about the horizontal reinforcement. Okay, this is the horizontal reinforcement. Okay, for vertical reinforcement, since the value of K is equals to 1, the vertical pressure will also be same as this only. So the steel required will also be governed by the minimum requirement, that is 450 mm square. So we provide the same reinforcement here also for the vertical for vertical steel also. So for vertical steel provide 10 mm at 170 mm center to center. That will give you ASB, that is the vertical steel provided, is equals to 462 mm square. Okay, so with this your design of side wall is complete. Now next is design of upper bottom. So next is design of upper bottom. Now in case of upper bottom, the vertical load on the hopper is more during filling. The vertical load on hopper bottom is more during filling. Okay, so we have to use the case of filling. So for filling case, the value of phi dash is for filling case it is 0.75 times pi. 0.75 times pi. Okay, so that will be 0.75 into 28, that is 21 degree. So you can find mu dash is equals to tan phi dash, which will be tan 21, that is 0.384. 0.384. And for filling case, the value of n is 0.5. For the value of n, pressure ratio for filling case is 0.5. So again, you can find the horizontal pressure using Jensen's theory. So where mu dash n h by r is equal to 0.384 into 0.5 into, we again keep this in terms of h only, so into h divided by r, 1.375. R is already calculated earlier, 1.375 meter. So this will be 0.384 into 0.5 divided by 1.375. So it will be 0.14 H. So your horizontal pressure pH will be equal to R is 1.375, gamma is 8.5 divided by mu dash is 0.384 into 1 minus e raised to the power minus 0.140 H. That will be 30.436 whole multiplied by 1 minus e raised to the power 0.104 into H. Okay. Now the maximum pressure will be, or we can say the maximum value of pH will be at h equals to 18 meter. The maximum pH will be 30.426 into 1 minus e raised to the power minus 0.140 into 18. This will be 27.99 kilonewton per square meter. Now from this horizontal pressure you can find the vertical pressure. So maximum vertical pressure PV max will be equal to pH max divided by N. So that will be 27.99 divided by 0.5. For filling it is 0.5. It is 0.5. So this will be 55.974 kilonewton. Note that here because N is equals to pH by PV, so we can write PV is equals to pH by N. So So we can find the load on the upper bottom. Therefore, the vertical load on upper bottom from material stored in cylindrical portion that will be equal to this at 18. What we are doing, we are finding the horizontal pressure at this level. So at this pressure, at this level, what will be the horizontal this vertical pressure? This is PV. Okay. So at 18 meter height, we find the PV as 55.974 kilonewton per meter square. So you multiply the area of this silo cylindrical portion, that will be 5 by 4 into 5.5 square multiplied by this PV. You will get the vertical load. हाँ सर, सर लेक्चर चालू है एक्चुअली लैब में हाँ कंबाइन करी कहाँ कंबाइन किया था सर लेक्चर और लैब अभी तो 7 से हाँ 1 बजे हाँ सर हाँ सर हाँ 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 सर हाँ So this pressure multiplied by area of this cylindrical portion will give you the total vertical load. The total vertical load at this level from the grains, from the material stored. So that will be 55.974 multiplied by 5 by 4 into 5.5 square. So that is 1329.85 kilometer. So this is the weight from the stored material at 18 meter height. So it will be PV max into 5 by 4 into d square. So it will be 55.974 into 5 by 4 into b square, that is 5.5 square. So that will be 1329.85 kilometer. Okay. Now, in addition to this, we also have to find the weight of the upper bottom itself and the weight of the material inside the hopper bottom. So we have found the weight in the cylindrical portion. Now we also have to find the weight at this level. So here this will be due to the weight of the material inside the hopper bottom as well as the weight of self weight of the hopper bottom. So sum of these two will be the total vertical load on the hopper bottom. So To find the weight of the material inside the bottom hopper, let us first find the volume of the volume occupied within the hopper bottom. So to find the weight of material or the vertical load from the material stored inside the bottom hopper, vertical load to find the vertical load from the material stored inside the hopper bottom. Let us first find the volume occupied within the hopper bottom. So volume occupied within hopper bottom will be 1 by 3 times pi r cube minus pi r hopper opening, r opening, let us say r opening cube. So here it will be 1 by 3 pi r cube means it will be here r is equals to b by 2, that will be 5.5 by 2, that is 2.75 meter, and r naught is equals to 0.5, which is the opening, by 2, that is 0.25 meter. So into 2.75 cube minus pi into 0.25 cube. So the volume, if you work out this, it will be 21.762 meter cube. So so multiply this volume with the unit weight of the material, you will get the vertical load from the material stored inside the hopper bottom. So therefore vertical load from the material stored inside the hopper bottom that will be equal to 21.762 multiplied by 8.5, that is gamma. Gamma is equals to 8.5 kilonewton per meter cube. So that will be 184.94 kilonewton. Okay. So here it is 184.94 kilonewton plus the self weight of the hopper bottom itself. So third thing, we will be finding the self weight of the hopper bottom itself. So to find the self weight of the hopper bottom, So to find sulfate of the upper bottom, we have to find the uh, volume of the this sloping slab, multiply by then multiply it with the unit weight of the concrete. We will get the sulfate of the upper bottom. So let us assume 150 mm thick this sloping upper bottom sloping slab. For upper bottom, so the volume of concrete will be equal to mean diameter multiplied by the thickness multiplied by sloping length. So that will be the volume of this truncated cone. uh, Volume of these side walls of shape of truncated cone. So we are interested in finding the volume of this. So the mean diameter, where mean diameter, see here the diameter is 5.5 meter, the diameter here is 0.5 meter. So the mean diameter will be equal to 5.5 plus 0.5 by 2. So uh, no, we find the mean diameter at this level, top level. So here it will be 5.5 by 2 from here. Five point five plus one 150 mm thickness uh, times this root 2 is multiplied because it is 45 degree, so multiply by root 2. So this will be 2.96 meter. Thickness is 0.15 and sloping length is equal to 5.5 minus 0.5 by 2 into root 2. So that will be 2.5 root 2. So therefore the volume of concrete will be equal to this pi times mean diameter, pi into this 2.96 into 0.15 into 2.5 root 2. So this will give you 4.93 meter cube. See, this is the same thing we have calculated for the this bunkers with of circular shape. This the way we have found out the weight of the sloping slab for the bunkers. Same. This is for the rectangular case. For circular case, this thing. So it was using this you can also find the sloping slab. So the sulfate of concrete, sulfate of Hopper bottom will be equal to 4.93 into 25, that will be 123.29. Just wait for a few minutes. So we have the sulfate of the Hopper bottom also. So the uh, total weight will be equal to total weight on the Hopper bottom will be equal to this 1329.85 plus 84.92 plus the sulfate of the Hopper bottom, that is 123.29. Okay, so Therefore, total weight on upper bottom will be equal to 1329.85 plus 184.98 plus 123.29, that is 1637.12 kilometer. Okay, now this is the vertical load. We call this as, let us say, W equal to 1637.12. Okay, now suppose T is the tension in the hopper bottom. Then the component of the tension in the hopper bottom, vertical component of this tension in the hopper bottom will resist this load. So we can find the direct tension in hopper bottom we call this as T, will be equal to W upon sin theta. Why? Because the vertical component will be T sin theta equals to W. If you take the sine component of this, it will be T sin theta, because this is theta. Okay, so this will resist this W. So W is 1637.12 divided by sin 45, that will be equal to 2315.24 kilonewton. Just verify these values at your end. So we can find the direct tension per meter width, that will be equal to T divided by pi d, that means pi into B. We are finding the per meter width tension. So multiply this, divide this with the perimeter of the upper bottom. So that will be 2315.24 divided by pi into 5.5. So this will give you 134 kilonewton per meter. Okay, so you can find the steel required. Therefore, AST required to resist this direct tension, will be equal to factored value of this, that means TU divided by 0.87 Fy, that means 1.5 into T divided by 0.87 Fy. So that will be 1.5 into 134 into 10 to the power 3 divided by 0.87 into 415. So this will give you 556 0.68 mm square. Verify these values at your end. Now let us provide 10 mm bar diameter. Provide 5 10 mm at a spacing of 140 mm center to center. So that will give you AST provided equals to 10 mm bar diameter is 78.5. Area of 10 mm bar diameter is 78.5 multiplied by 1000 divided by spacing is 140. So that will give you 561 mm square. Okay, so that is okay. Now this bar is to be provided in sloping direction because your sloping slab is like this, so you have to provide the bars in the sloping direction. In sloping direction. Then curtail 50% of this bar at half the length of the bottom upper. At half the length, curtail 50% of the bar. Curtail because your load will be reduced there, so 50% of the bars at half the sloping length. Half upper one. Then we also have to check the stresses in concrete. Check for stress in concrete. So to check the stress in concrete, we find the equivalent area of the concrete. So equivalent area of concrete AE will be equal to 150 mm thick slab multiplied by 1 meter width plus area of the steel provided, that is 561 multiplied by the modular ratio. Here modular ratio M is equals to 13. See, equivalent area is equal to thickness into 1000 plus AST into modular ratio. So that will give you 1.7293 mm square. So direct tensile stress in concrete, direct tensile stress in concrete will be equal to the service load, that is T, divided by AE. Okay, so T is 134 into 10 to the power 3 whole divided by 157293. So 134 divided by 157293, that is 0.852 Newton per mm square. Now this value is less than the sigma CT, allowable tensile strength in concrete, that is 2.8 Newton per mm square. So it is okay. Now we missed this check in the cylindrical wall portion also. So same shall be checked here also for the cylindrical wall. So let us check that. Check for stress in concrete. So here the direct tensile stress in concrete will be equal to T or T divided by AE. Now T here, the maximum value of hook tension is 105.02. So it is 105 point, wait, it is factored. No, it is not factored. So it is 105.02 into 10 to the power 3 divided by AE. Now here we have to find AE also. So AE is equal to, here 150 mm thickness is there, 150 into 1000 plus the area of the steel provided is 462 into 13. So 150 into 1000 plus 462 into 13, that is 156,006 mm square. So 156,006. So this is 0.673 Newton per mm square. Again, this value is less than sigma CT allowable of 2.8 Newton per mm square. So it is okay. Okay. So now in the design of bottom hopper, we have to check for the tension, design for hook tension, So same as the circular bunker, we find the normal pressure. We'll find the normal pressure for this. We'll find the normal pressure. See, if this is pH, the horizontal pressure, then we find the normal pressure Pn. Okay, and the normal component of this will be, see, there is PV also. So it is PV cos square theta plus ph sin square theta, where this is theta. Okay, this is due to the horizontal and vertical pressure, and in addition to this we also add Pn dash, which is the normal component of the self weight of the slab. See, the self weight of the slab is W, which is acting in downward direction. So the normal component of that will be, we call this as Wn, will be equal to W, if this is Ws, it will be Ws, that is the weight of the sloping slab, times cos theta. Okay, so we add these two to find the total normal load on the sloping slab, and then we design for the hook tension, and so and we find the hook steel required for resisting this hook tension. So we'll stop here. In the next class, we'll carry out this design of hook tension. And if you have any doubt up till now, we can discuss now. Any doubt in this?